So, let's discuss the practical learnings I applied after reading The Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. So, upon traveling to Manila last July 2019, I saw how Manila was becoming the Big Apple metropolis. I then go to the store of SM MOA and grab the book of this Japanese-looking writer, and that book was The Rich Dad Poor Dad. I spent weeks to finish reading the book, and here's what I actually learned. Number one is that you started to see the importance of money as an important tool in our generation. In the book, you can see how Robert Kiyosaki explained the life of the poor dad and the rich dad. Although both the rich dad and the poor dad are successful in their careers and strongly believe in education as a tool, the rich dad believed that money can be a powerful tool along with education, while the poor dad just rely on education and knowledge alone. He is making a point of view that poor dad and rich dad has different mindsetting. The poor dad view money as the root of all evil, while the rich dad believes that the lack of money is actually the root of all evil, and by earning it could somehow solve some life practical problems. In real life situation, most of us are taught to believe that staying in school and studying hard with excellent grade propel us afterwards. But that was actually the mindsetting of the poor dad. Most schools are focused on scholastic and professional skills. The reason why top graduates with excellent grades who works after college, yet most still struggle financially. The rich dad, on the other hand, believes that educational degree is useless until you produce a result on how you use your education in a more practical sense. Whenever they buy things, the poor dad has the habit of saying, "I can't afford it," which already shut down the brain and a clear sign of mental laziness, while the rich dad develop a habit by asking, "How can I afford it?" which make his brain put to work until he conceive to become its reality. It is very clear for us to see how knowledge and education matter, but we still have this missing puzzle that barred us from achieving our mission, and we end up daydreaming. We still end up solving first our essential needs and complaining how to pay our bills later at the end of the day. Money or resources can be that missing problem, and the reason why our society advance and propel because the capitalist world seeds money to an idea that can grow and benefit most of mankind. The ignorant explorer before do not believe that money is a tool. He knew it's just a nonsense paper being obsessed by the majority and strongly believed that it is actually evil. Up until he realized that the lack of money is actually the reason why we hate our world. And in order to achieve it, you must render a work or create something that wealth chases you. He imagined a scenario wherein if all of us believe that money is the root of all evil and do not believe on its system, we end up living on a stagnated society that disappoints to conceive creativity and productivity. A world where we could not have enjoyed necessary needs and material things that was bred through idea and capitalism. Businesses that produce quality products and services to please their consumers. The importance of money was now being anticipated. It is a competitive tool that expands our idea to its finest scheme. A tool that creates a practical sense to be used by every organism, and a best example of a tool in the 21st century to be considered as a power source of our economy. Number 2 is that you actually appreciate the cash flow quadrant. The writer's number 1 rule on financial literacy is that the importance of knowing the difference between the asset and the liability. This is exactly a different meaning from the accounting term. The writer implies that an asset puts money in my pocket, a liability takes money out of my pocket. In the real world, rich people acquire asset while majority of the poor and the middle class people acquire liability that they think are assets. The writer then created the cash flow quadrant, which is very simple to understand, which only requires our understanding of income, expense, asset, and liabilities. Robert Kiyosaki knew that every single person living in the modern world are separated as poor, middle class, and rich. The cash flow quadrant example for poor people spend most of their resources only on expenses and rigidly difficult to create a cash flow to their income. The middle class spend liabilities that they thought to be an asset, such as home mortgages, car loans, credit card, and school loans, and still end up leveling only their source of income. On the other hand, the rich cash flow quadrant is unique because their cash flow is more potent on their income quadrant as they build an asset income generating portfolio, hence they end up exceeding their expense flow through their source of income. Quotes. A person can be highly educated, professionally successful, and financially illiterate. Number 3 is that you are ready to start a business and engage on asset investments. I never had started my business since I graduated in college, earning a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. I remember way back on college when accounting was the only available best course in our school, and I end up hating my course and likely to pursue engineering or physics. It is the reason that I failed accountancy, so I was dumped into business class. Even after I graduated college, I knew that I will never succeed on this kind of course I pursue, but I'm slowly learning the fact that business course was actually the most fundamental and applicable course in this generation. Reading the book boosts my motivation and knew that I was not really wrong on pursuing my graduate course, but was indeed a gift and an opportunity. Robert Kiyosaki knew that every single person living on earth today are minding their own business. Kiyosaki implies that to become financially secured, a person needs to mind their own business, and your business revolves around your asset column, not into your income column. An example of an asset investment that falls into the category are business that do not require a presence, stocks, bonds, income generating real estate, commodities, notes, IOUs, royalties from intellectual property, such as music, scripts, and patents, anything else that has value, produces income or appreciates over time, and has a ready market. Taking risks is also an important skill for a rich mindset and the sole reason why the poor and the middle class preserve a fiscally conservative traits by playing safe in terms of opportunity. Starting a business is not easy, and statistics would tell us that out of 10 business born, only 1 will succeed. Working on other businesses enable us to become secured yet deserve a fixed payment for our result. The poor and the middle class mindset are contented on what they have, such as job and stability, but the rich are focused more on receiving rewards based on their performance and output result. After reading the book, I began to follow the book and explore stock investment and also seek real estate investment. Exploring the business world takes time and capital. And in my case, that has only a limited financial resources. Becoming creative and psychologically equipped is my important tool. I realized that there has to be a larger chance that I'll end up going bankrupt if I start my own business with capitalization. That is why a careful plan is important. But how would you know if you fail or not? This richest man, the owner of Amazon, would tell us that ideas are important, but execution matters more. So in order to test if we succeed or not, we must execute and act more rather than making plans and dreaming on that project. Number 4 is that you are eager to work for learning and don't work for the sake of money. Sometimes it was a butthurt for most people that when we already achieve the highest honor or degree, we already end up being proud and less likely to pursue more learning afterwards. A person who has a doctorate degree might be offended if you teach him how to become a farmer because his mind knew he knows everything better than a farmer and that he was already a high-paying job on a certain company. Sometimes we disregard other skills and talent just because they had a low-level paying skills that is not compatible to ourselves. Upon reading the book, majority of the people are focusing on working for money and disregarding the value of work, which could help them build a foundation of skills. Experts of the field are only focused on certain skills while ending up to be financially broke. However, the rich are hungry for learning and eager to become an expert on one field to another. Humans are designed to be intellectuals on different way, having a degree or not. The world is filled with smart, talented, educated, and gifted people. We meet them every day and they are all around us. The writer explains that combining different technical skills is important. Thus, when it comes to money, the only skills most people know is to work hard. The poor and the middle class people are focused on wasting their energy only on what they have and what they can earn, while the rich are focused on building businesses that they knew nothing at all, yet hunger to learn and develop onto it. They had a clear mind setting that even if they failed this kind of venture that took them the time, energy, and resources while ending up nothing to gain a profit, they still value the essence that learning the skills is a treasure, while the poor and the middle class would not dare to start such kind of work unless you offered them the price. Thus, they end up doing the work for money instead of doing the work to learn. Quotes: people's lives are forever controlled by two emotions, fear and greed. Last but not the least is that number 5, you begin to invent products and services that focus more on people than to yourself. Often in the real world, the Kiyosaki dictates that it is not that the smart who get ahead, but the bold and the visionary. Many people would ask why should I bother to develop a financial literacy? Why should I start building a business if it is difficult and will still end up on a bankruptcy? Kiyosaki answered that he did it because it is the most exciting time to be alive. He rather choose the life of service and adventure rather than a life of ease and comfort. He told us that we are on the period of the most exciting time and unprecedented in our history, the death of the old and the birth of the new one. So why bother developing your financial IQ? Because if you do, he said that you will prosper greatly. We notice that in this generation, there will be dramatic increase in multi-millionaires, while there is also who are left behind. Many people are often struggling because they still cling to the old ideas. They wanted things the way they are and resist change. Our generation is full of opportunities that was not granted even to the oldest times. Kings and pharaohs ruled the world without much giving an opportunity to the peasants. Our generation was the birth of a new one where one can grow and expand no matter how difficult his or life beginnings would be. Kiyosaki implies that 20 years ago, there are already thousands of entrepreneurial success stories that came from nothing and continues to grow in the present time. Famous names like Steve Jobs, Larry Ellison, Jack Ma, Sergey Brin, who started to invent products and services as well as grabbing that unprecedented opportunity that Kiyosaki had implied. I became interested on such real-life application not because I wanted to become rich automatically, but because I knew that this generation is a perfect time to sprout an idea without any more leaving our house. YouTube content creating is an example of inventing a video product that focuses on communicating our thoughts to other people. There is no time in our history where one could share its idea to the world automatically without any more leaving his house or to work outside. The internet was conceived during the 1990s and produced many entrepreneurial billionaires as they had grabbed such opportunity that the poor and the middle class never anticipated. We are not anymore ruled by pharaohs and kings who knew nothing about creating products and services that help us to ease our life. We are on a generation that was ruled by the bureaucracy of idea that spurred a growth and seeded by the capital world. If you are now watching this video and already learned what I've learned to the book of Kiyosaki, would you also dare to participate to our ever-changing world, to invent products and services that focus more on helping our community and become better out of it? Quotes: the single most powerful asset we all have is our mind. If it is trained well, it can create an enormous wealth. If you like the video, be sure to subscribe. I'll be giving another reviews on to the books I've read. And besides, I'll be posting other videos that are related more onto money growing exploration, travel tips, and science technology. Thank you.